trouble, it's time to give them hell out there. Welcome to the Trenchfoot Society.
This is the Trenchfoot Society, broadcasting from the fortified city of New Antioch, where the walls still stand, the guns still thunder, and the faithful prepare for another march into the mud. The signal is clear, for now. Today we're turning our attention to the biggest event in Trench Crusade yet, the upcoming worldwide campaign. Across the globe, warbands will answer the call, victories and defeats will shape the fate of the front, and countless battles will become part of a single living conflict. We'll be discussing what we know so far, what we're hoping to see, how to get involved, and what this campaign could mean for the future of Trench Crusade and the ever-growing community surrounding it. So clean the mud from your boots, check your ammunition, and say your prayers. The order to advance has been given, so let's get stuck in. All right, gentlemen, well, welcome back. So, Mike, what have you been up to this month?
Quite a few things, actually. We've had some new launches. I think we talked a little bit last month. Little things came out for this indie game called Warhammer. Got some new stuff with that. Eric and I actually exchanged some pieces from the launch box. So I think Eric has a whole bunch of orcs, and I've got a couple extra Space Marines now that I've been slowly putting together. Been working on a lot of terrain stuff. I bought some cool folding terrain files that I've been working on some 3D print stuff with, mainly to go with, the launch of 11th edition for Warhammer. But a lot of it, I think, would also work quite well for Trench Crusade, because I'd like to, as much as I love the big thematic boards that we have, and we have the tendency to build and make those, they're a huge pain in the ass when you need to move them, or, when you have to store four gigantic 4 foot by 4 foot boards.
Yeah, I'm dreading if I ever have to bring them back home with me.
Yeah, exactly. So like just recently when they were doing some recording stuff at Spray Gunner, we had to, shimmy some stuff around at the store, and I had to bring home a piece of mine. I mean, I needed to fix that piece. So I needed to bring it home anyway, but we had to get some stuff out of the way and all that. So I think that, it is a little bit of L-shaped ruins, but we use those a lot of times anyway. And it's really, as I'm really impressed with it, is I got two different sets of them that are foldable.
It's fine, especially if you're running a larger event and you have multiple games going on.
Oh yeah. Not only just from that perspective, like, from trying to pull around, because I've had 3D printers for ages, and I've printed out some terrain for others and for myself, and, trying to bring, a table's worth of, L-shaped ruins to a store. It's a pretty decent sized box to fit everything. And the two that I have, it's from Tinker Junkie, I think, his New Goth, and Fabricator's Lair. Both of them made really fancy foldable terrain pieces. And I've got both packages from them. Personally, I like the Fabricator's Lair. I think it looks a little bit better. Both of them come in, multicolor and single color. So of course I had to go out and buy a multicolor printer just, for the shits and grins of giving it a try.
It didn't take much convincing to get you to get that.
It really didn't. It's funny because for the longest time I was like, what's the point? I'm just going to paint it anyway. Or honestly, let's be real here. I'm just going to give it to Johnny and make him paint it anyway. So I've never really cared for it all that much. And honestly, I've got one going right now, and like for two pieces of terrain that would normally in a single color would take like, I don't know, 6-8 hours, maybe 10 tops, is going to take like 36 hours to do in 4 color, just because the purge process and all this. So there's a lot of things that I'm not super a fan of with the way that it does it. The biggest reason that I really want it is I want to try doing some of the fancy stuff with multiple materials of using like PETG and PLA, which they don't stick together very well. So you can use PETG as a interface layer, and that way you can do your supports really tight and get better quality out of the print itself, and then the supports come off hopefully easier. So I still need to mess with that. Like I said, I literally just got the thing 2 days ago, I think, and I've been messing around with the multicolor stuff for a couple of days, and I'll give the support stuff a try here in another day or two when this current print is finally finished up. But that's because I've been running, like I said, is some of this terrain. I really want to try getting out some of this foldable stuff because, you could literally have 4 or 5 tables worth of terrain in the same size box where you could get basically 1 table's worth before. So you can get a lot more, for your dollar and for your space, moreover, is the bigger thing. So I'm hoping that I can get a bunch of that stuff made up, and then some of the stuff that's stylized off of kind of a 40K Gothic. It just looks like a Gothic cathedral, so there's not much on it that really looks super sci-fi, because the cool thing with 40K is they've kind of got like an old school Gothic look on a lot of their stuff anyway, so a lot of it just kind of looks like a ruined church for Trench Crusade, so it kind of works in both stances.
Yeah,
Uh,
that it does.
Yeah, so that one will work. There's a like Sisters of Battle themed one. There's a industrial factory themed one that I think will work pretty well for Trench Crusade. It's got some, kind of like sci-fi doors and such on it, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I've got to print a couple of them out and take a look at them. I think that they should work. I mean, we're going to use them anyway, and it's better than nothing. So I know we have a couple of tables set up at the local shop, but every once in a while, when we have a whole bunch of people there, there's inevitably at least 1 or 2 people end up having to play on a table with just random bits and pieces of terrain that's left over. So
Yeah,
it's funny to see
well,
the one table with like a couple of L-shaped ruins and a couple of pieces of Johnny's trenches and just like random bits and bobs from everything that's left over.
it'd also be nice to take them to other locations, especially for like a demo or a learn to play event.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the other things that I was thinking about, is just to have it around. It'd be nice for that, and I'm hoping to actually do, at least more than I think all of last year. I got in 2 games of 40K. I'd like to get in a couple this year, so wouldn't be bad to have some terrain to use for that as well. But that's been a lot of fun. I had to build a couple more pilgrims for my demo pilgrim band because I keep losing them. I'm not sure exactly how. I'm assuming I just keep leaving one, but
Is the dog getting them?
no, it's not the dog getting. I always lose them at game night. Like I lost one at least one. I think I got lost 2 of them at Adepticon. Um, I've lost 1 or 2 of them at Spray Gunner. I had extras to begin with because, they're kind of the mainstay of, my Trench Pilgrims warband. So I had a few extras in case one of them broke, that I would just have one in the box. But I've lost enough of them that I no longer have enough to play the warband. So I had to print out some parts and build a couple more.
That's
So
distressing.
yeah, it's more weird because like they're my demo warband, so I don't worry about them a ton. But it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where it's like every time I pack it up and I'm like, there was 7 of these guys and now there's 6. And then a couple weeks later, I'm like, now there's 5. And and it's gotten to the point now
Yeah.
where, the last I looked, I think there's 4 of them in there, and I think I need 5 of them for that list. So I'm assuming that, when I, lent him out, and no fault of anybody's but my own, I've forgotten to go get everybody off of a table, and, it either got lost on a piece of terrain and, somebody grabbed it and put it in their bag and forgot to give it back, or it walked off somewhere. I'm not super worried. None of them were painted anyway. So,
Oh, okay, that's better.
I don't even think they had, no, they might have had primer and been dry brushed. That's about all they had on them. So it's not like there was a ton of work put into them anyway. So I wasn't too big of a deal. And, the new ones that I made, I like the posing on it a lot better anyway. One of my favorite pose is the guy holding up a sword or a gun. It it always reminds me of like a kid that's, found like the best looking stick at the park and he's holding it up.
Yeah.
So I had to do a dude doing that where he's holding up his sword. And I'm like, it just reminds me of a friggin' little kid with his,
This is the
his
best
new
stick
stick.
ever.
Exactly. So I got a couple more of those guys that I've got put together. And some of the new stuff from what's it, Imago Minis. I know
Okay.
we've been talking about for our next campaign. I've been contemplating either going back to just stock Grail or potentially doing Dirge, depending on how much shooting I need to do for the next campaign. So uh,
What do
I've
you
been
think you'll do?
I really want to do stock Grail just because I haven't done stock
Yeah.
since they released all the new stuff for it.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say, you haven't played them in
There's
almost
yeah,
a
they
year.
they have quite a bit of different things now. I think I was actually tempted to try them, because they have a lot of new mechanics. I haven't fought an amalgam basically since the game released
I
because
know,
nobody
right? Like
used it.
I know. Nobody, the only ones we had, I was at Great Hunger and we had Lunchbox doing Dirge, but we didn't have any stock Grail in the last campaign. I haven't done stock Grail in freaking ages. Pretty much since Great Hunger came out.
No, I have a buddy of mine that I've known for a while, plays Necromunda and stuff with me, or has. But I think he's coming out for a demo, and I know he's leaning towards Black Grail.
Okay. Yeah, onto your point about the demo, not like worrying too much about the demo guys. I like made the mistake of like painting my first batch of minis, to a really high standard in my opinion. And then those ended up being my demo
Here-
minis. And like as
here's
I was
my-
getting the demos, I
Here's
was
my
like,
Golden
that's a
Demon
bad
freaking
idea.
demo warband.
Yeah, and I was like, man, and I was like shocked at how careless some people can be. Like if you don't like explicitly tell people, like chuck the minis, like they'll like spike it onto the mat. I'm like, oh my god, like please be careful
Yeah.
with that. Like
That's why I kept joking was when we were at Adepticon last year. My buddy Kenan that was with us, he wanted something to paint, and I was like, after we had played a bunch of games of Trench Crusade, he wanted one of my pilgrims to paint, and I was like, hey, this is my demo warband that I give out, to like 14-year-olds to play with. So like, don't be going crazy. I was gonna just slap chop these guys, and he just looks at me. He's like, yeah, but I wanna practice layering. I'm like, yeah, but like I have to paint the rest of these. I'm gonna just do slap chop. He's like, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and layer this, and then he put like 14 hours or something ridiculous into that one. And he looks phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Like he looks great, but I'm like, he's not going to look like the rest of my guys now.
yeah, that's also another issue. It's like be like, oh, I'll just do my basic troopers really quick, and then I'll put a lot of time into my leader. And it actually looks worse because it makes your other guys look bad. Like so, it's actually I found in the past like it's almost better to just kind of try to keep the same standard, like within
Well,
1 or 2
especially
degrees.
for 40K or other larger games like that, I can kind of see that. But for
Yeah.
more skirmish games like Trench Crusade, Mordheim, Necromunda, et cetera, because the model count is so low, I feel like
Yes.
more people can take their time and have
Yeah,
better
that's
quality
true.
paint jobs.
Yeah, you can do. I mean, and I feel like that's obviously the nice thing about a skirmish skill game, and that's what I've been doing with my guys, and it's great because I really like those just the basic trooper minis. I'm always I'm always like a little sad that I can't put as much time into a battle line kind of troop, but you can with Trench Crusade, which is great, and you can trick them out, you can deck them, you can give them like medals and little trophies and scars and stuff, and that's like the cool part.
Yeah, it was funny. I was actually just talking with a friend of mine who came over because I've been, building the guys from my Armageddon box. And, I've got these trench pilgrims sitting here on my desk. There's, what is it, 6 pilgrims, sitting here that I've got them waiting to get some mud on them and then so I can prime them. Well, I've also got, what is this, 10, 12 intercessors. And he's like, "Oh, wow." He's like, "Is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, those are from 40K." He's like, "Oh, these are cool looking." I'm like, "Yeah, that's one unit of guys." I'm like, "That unit has more guys in it than my whole Trench Pilgrims Warbank."
Oh yeah, it's funny because like most people go, most people have experience with 40K, at least from what I've seen, and then they go, to Trench Crusade. Some of the people I've interacted, but it must be funny to like get into like a skirmish scale, like Trench Crusade or Mordheim or whatever, and then try to level up and go, or like try to move on to 40K, and you're like, and then you just have this absolutely daunting prospect of painting, over 100 models or something, and then
Yeah,
you also have to invest like hundreds more dollars.
yeah,
Uh,
especially if you're playing, like a horde mode army, if you're doing guard or, or Tyranids or
yeah.
something crazy.
Eric,
Yeah,
what are you
and
been up to this month?
speaking of a daunting prospect of a horde army, I also caved and got the 11th box set, unfortunately for 40K, and I'm literally in that middle of painting 120 orc boys. It's an absolute ordeal. Yeah, I've just switched. Unfortunately, I've just switched to just 40K for the time being. Like, but we have a lot of Trench Crusade stuff coming up later in the summer, so I'm like, I'm trying to like pace myself a little bit because I know that I'm gonna go full whole hog into that. But right now, I'm like, okay, I want to do a proper horde. This is like probably my fourth or fifth 40K army at this point. But
Bog,
I always
baby,
kind of
bog.
yeah, and I kind of like always avoided a horde. I was like, no, no way, no. But I was like, okay, it's time. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do 120 orc boys, and I'm like literally doing it right now.
But have you finished building your guys from your Armageddon box and from my
Yes,
Armageddon box?
I have yes, I have finished building. I was like, I was just like, kind of like autistically hyper focusing for the last week and a half. 2 weeks of just doing builds. I have all the Armageddon stuff built. I don't have a full army. I'm getting pretty close. I think if I add like Gascool, and a few other guys, I think I'll be close to 2,000 points.
Nice.
How about you,
But
Johnny?
yeah.
What you
Yeah, what
What
about
you been
you?
up to?
So, I have been busy with terrain and whatnot for an upcoming event that we will get into here in a minute. But a bunch of scatter terrain I've been working on, some tetrapods. I have a big thematic terrain piece, Basilica from Hexbrick that I'm doing. Some other secret stuff for the campaign that I kind of want to be a surprise. But yeah, it's been keeping me busy, and I'm on the clock, so it's definitely a daunting task. But
And how much of it is stuff that I printed for you months ago?
all of it actually. But yeah, the basilica is huge, so it's a lot of brick on it. So it's going to take some time. So I'm definitely going to try to knock that out first, and then
I
once
thought you
that's
said it was stone.
part of it is. But once the basilica is done, that's the most daunting thing. The other stuff I'll be able to knock out a lot quicker. So other than that, playing some Mordheim, the Mordheim campaign.
Oh
So
yeah, I forgot about that.
we're getting into what, week 3 here, I think, of it.
I think 3 was last week, and I think you and I are behind. I think we need to still get in our game 3, and this week is 4 or something like that.
I think they're doing it every other week though. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've been doing. Is just trying to knock stuff out for this campaign that we will get into here now. So Eric, you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, so by the time this airs, I think we'll be in the clear, but pretty big news. As we all know, Carcass Front is dropping at the end of July. To celebrate that, there will be a worldwide campaign And if you are familiar with like kind of the global campaigns of old days, like Games Workshop, it's basically it's a worldwide
but better.
camp. Huh? What's that?
But better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. It's a worldwide campaign that everyone can take part in. Basically, you'll be able to submit your battle reports during this time, and each region of the world will be in charge of a certain sector, and basically the results of your battles will influence the outcome of the actual campaign. Like, so whatever happens, like
Well,
whatever faction wins or does well or does poorly, that will impact the storyline. So
yeah,
basically,
the
you
lore
guys as
and
players,
possibly rules going forward.
yeah, you guys are going to influence the lore basically, and it's a really exciting thing. I think, other companies have tried to do it in the past. I've seen mixed results, and it gets frustrating for a lot of people because like it's like, oh, they say that and then they don't like then they just like do some ass pull at the end to make one faction win. I really don't think it's going to be the case like this. I think they've, from what we know, that it's like it's going to be for real. Like if you do really well with Heretic Legion, I think they're going to write it so the Heretic Legion does well. If it's Crushing Victory for New Antioch, it's going to be, they're going to put that into the lore. And the really cool thing is that you can submit, like, there will be like decisive battles that the observers will help with, and that like the action that unfolds in those battles is going to be like kind of immortalized in the lore. Like, so if your yeoman does some crazy shit and just pops like a prayer in activation, he'll make it into legend, and so
Yeah, that'll be a noteworthy event.
yeah, so that'll be like, yeah, I've always wanted to do, like, ever since I played 40K, like I got in right after the Eye of Terror campaign, and I always thought like that was like the coolest thing. In like, oh, it's like, oh, the forces of Imperium holding the Cadian Gate, or like, the forces of the Despoiler, crushing the servants of the Imperium, like that. Like, I always wanted to be part of a global campaign like that, so it's extremely exciting. And they're very freeform about it. They're not gonna be, they don't have a predetermined outcome. It's literally just gonna be all you guys.
They're also doing campaign badges, I believe, for it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
well,
service medals, I think
yeah.
is what they're
So
going to be called.
yeah, I think they're still finalizing the details that us observers are gonna get, but there's gonna be like a lot of swag involved. There's gonna be, as me and Johnny are observers for Tampa, so we're gonna be like kind of like guiding and helping shape the narrative, and create the scenarios of that battle, of those decisive battles, of the like, there's the whole campaign, and then you zoom in on our little, battlefield, our little theater, and we'll be shaping that. And Johnny's been, kind of kicking ass with in regards to creating custom terrain, creating like custom scenarios.
Yeah, so a little what we're going to do here in Tampa, or my event, Eric and Mike. It's going to be a dual campaign centered around a basilica. Without going too much into it, because at the time of this release, it's still almost a month away. But yeah, it's going to be dual campaigns. One's going to be focused on a caravan going to the basilica, and the other one's going to be the basilica being defended by the faithful and being overwhelmingly attacked by heretical forces, without giving too much away from my local players.
Yeah, and there's I mean, dude, I think you posted in progress pictures on the Discord, right?
On the Observer Discord, yeah, and on the Trenchfoot Society one, there's
Okay,
a
yeah.
few, not a lot.
Go check those out. I'm sure more will be posted by the time this releases. But there's some kick-ass stuff. We had a great time with the last campaign. Very excited. And I'm doing this 40K thing right now, but I definitely want to make some scenarios for the decisive battles for the Leviathan campaign. Very excited.
So other than that, I'm looking forward to to the upcoming global event. And like I said, ours is going to run the course of the 3 weeks. It's just a narrative mini campaign that I've kind of put together, and I've had the ideas for a while. And I get the opportunity to kind of combine them and put them together into one kind of super event that'll run the course of the 3 weeks. So I think it's the August 24th through September 13th are going to be the dates for this event. So, Mike, you got anything to add?
I'm looking forward to reading through some of the ideas and telling you no, that's broken.
No.
Yeah, maybe we'll need a few people doing that. just
I
just
know.
to just to have some like quality control on those scenarios.
Yeah, it's something. I know one of the things that we had talked about was from our last campaign, things went way smoother than I thought a lot of stuff would go
Yeah,
in our
things went
last one.
great, but there was some funny hiccups like with
Yeah,
that.
so one of the things that I know that with Johnny that we've talked about is trying to at least run through each of the ideas at least once, just to see if we run into hiccups, at least try to run into them on our own and come up with ideas to get around them before
Yeah.
game night. So I'm looking forward to trying some of those. I know the ideas that you've already come up with and told me already sound pretty solid. So I think we're going to do a lot better on this one, since you kind of already have some ideas fresh from what we've run through in the last campaign. And I don't think we're going to be doing as much of the craziness where we had to come up with some kind of crazy house rules for the last campaign, and we're trying to avoid that for this one, just because it is so narrative driven, and it's something that's going to affect the game as a whole. We don't want to come up with, let's make a bunch of crazy rules, and it's like half the stuff we have is basically house rules. So we're trying to avoid that as much as we can.
Yeah, a nice thing is, we'll by the time the campaign drops, like we'll have access to Leviathan. I'm sorry, the Carcass Front box. Carcass Front box, from what we can see, has a bunch of campaign stuff, cool scenarios, cool new rules, like. So it'll be fun to like take that into the Leviathan campaign and use elements from that.
And I know players, other than just what we're doing, players around the globe can play on their own and submit the results, like play multiple games and submit all those results to Factory Fortress via the Trench Crusade website.
Yeah, you don't need to wait for us. You don't need to wait for observers or like official representatives or whatever. You can just play a game with your friends and then submit the results. And even if you're doing it on TTS, on Tabletop Simulator, they have that'll be like its own theater, which I think is pretty cool that they're.
Oh, did they actually like make a theater for TTS?
Yes.
Yeah, like
that's cool.
every region of the world has its own theater, including TTS, which will be
That's
its own
awesome.
theater.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and I think you could submit one battle report a day. So I think that'll, of course, there's like the question of like, oh, what if somebody makes up their thing, which I'm sure some people will, but you can only submit one a day. So it's kind of capped out on how much you can sort of like game the results. And honestly, like from what I've seen, like, yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of that, but like honestly, like most people, I just want to play the game. Like I just want to play the game. And
honestly, if I'm sure that on the Factory Fortress side, if it's like, this guy submitted 200 battle reports, well, obviously you wouldn't be able to do that many.
Yeah,
but,
it's capped, so that's the good.
yeah, it's like if somebody submits like 30 or 40 of them, even if you do it once a day or whatever,
there's also checks and balances in place to help prevent cheating.
Yeah, they're gonna look at the data, like, and if it's obvious. And it's so obvious that someone's like there's some like new Antioch conspiracy to like help them get a new unit or something. I'm sure they're gonna like, be like, all right, guys, and put their foot down. But I honestly, I think the limit, like amount of battle ports that you can submit, is gonna help with that. I just want to like play the game. I'm gonna be playing like heretical factions, like fallen factions, because I want to like influence it that way. Like I think it'll, like I'm probably gonna bust out court. I'm probably gonna go
Oh,
all out on the campaign.
100%. Like
Yeah.
like it's funny because that's what I was saying was when I heard like, oh, they're gonna be doing uh, medals and such like that. I'm like, are they making heretical medals too? Because like I have a feeling like most people are thinking like, oh, New Antioch, and we're gonna make New Antioch medals, and the Duke of New Antioch is doing this, and oh, maybe the Pilgrims. I'm like, yeah, but like, what about heretics? Like,
Yeah,
what about
most
Great
babies
Hunger?
eaten.
Yeah,
Most babies eaten.
like
Most
I just
war crimes committed.
exactly. Like I want some, some stuff that you wouldn't see. I want to see the gross stuff that you wouldn't see in most other games. I feel like that's one of the benefits to Trench Crusade is that it leans more into that actual grim darkness and the horrifying, excuse me, side of things where it's like let's actually put some craziness in there and make some
Yeah, some
more heretic
gruesomeness.
focused stuff.
It's funny because I don't know if a lot of people notice this. Like, I still see people ask, like, what does the tactical fetus do, like, on the heretic trooper art? It's actually an item you can get in the game. I think the unholy relic is like counted as it's sometimes it says like mummified fetuses, like it can count as that. So that actually does have a use in the game.
Well, it's funny. That's one of the I couldn't find an official one. I don't think that it's in like the heretic weapon or accessory sprue isn't a fetus. But I found one, that somebody designed that was on, some files I found online. And I'm like, I don't really care for these files. They don't look as cool. I'm like, but I'm 100% cutting out this tactical fetus and I'm going to
Yeah.
print that out and put it on my official, because I printed out a heretic warband. Cause similar to you, Eric, I figure I might as well have at least, 700, 800 points worth of each warband, at least so I can try them out, or if somebody's interested in playing it, just have them. I don't know if I'll actually get them painted ever, but I'm not as that far ahead as you. I think you had those all painted the freaking first time we went together. I was
One of,
horrified because you threw them all in a box, but
one of
Oh
these
yeah,
days,
no.
yeah, one of these days I need to finish painting my Heretic Legion.
Yeah, I mean that was a quick job, and I mean that bubble wrap really did its job. It's funny because I didn't suffer model damage until I switched to a nice magnetized case, and then I put it on like a rotting cardboard box, and the cardboard box collapsed, and it just threw my models everywhere. That was just that was I cringe very hard thinking about
yeah,
that.
my magnet case has kept my guys nice and solid. That it flew them all the way out to Adepticon last year. The only problem I've had so far is a couple weeks ago. Normally, when I get home from game night, I put my little case down on the stairs so that then in the morning when I go upstairs, I'll take it upstairs and put it in its place in the game room. And I had put it on the stairs and went to go, make some dinner and all that. And I hear a crash and I come out and the dog had been walking up the stairs and knocked the case over.
Oh
And
no.
luckily I had only put it on the
Oof.
bottom step. And
Okay.
amazingly enough, only I think it was two or three guys came off of the magnetic base. But only I think it was my desiccated husk. His arm broke off, but it was broke off at the glue point, so I just glued it back on. You can't even tell. And then the only other one that broke was my custom made Scripture Guardian, and he's got my Great Hunger Scripture Guardian. He's got like a little tentacle coming out of his face holding a quill. And when the first time I printed it, it's so tiny. I was like, I don't even think that'll make it out. I was amazed that it even printed. And it broke off so cleanly that I'm like, cool, I'm just going to sand that nub down and you'll never even notice that it's missing.
There you go.
It's just battle damage now.
You can't even tell. It broke off like behind his face. The only other place that it was touching is where it was touching the book. And since it's not even primed yet, I'm like, I'm just going to sand that down and you'll never even see it and won't even know that it was there unless you listen to this and you see my models.
Yeah, I was able to control most of the damage. There was a lot of breaks, but most of them are clean breaks. Um, the Desecrated Saint, I think that broke into a bunch of pieces. I had to like reglue the sword, reglue the arm. All the limbs just like exploded off the body. So I had to
Yeah,
like glue
that is
his
the
back.
problem with that is one thing I will give to regular plastic is
Yeah.
regular plastic minis do tend to survive falls a lot better than resin
Yeah,
does.
they're like legitimately more durable, which is a thing. I always think it's funny that like just the shape of the Space Marine, like it makes it more resilient because it's like it has those like
Well, it's so
rounded
chunky.
shoulders. Yeah, it's like chunky and it has those like rounded shoulders and it like actually acts to like shield it from impact when you drop the maul. I think it's really
Well,
funny.
bro, like I like just sitting here on my desk, I've got like a bunch of Space Marines sitting here next to some Trench Pilgrims. The freaking axe handle on my Space Marine, the axe handle is thicker than my Trench Pilgrim's calf.
Yeah.
Like, let alone his leg. The leg is about as
Scale
big
creep.
around as the Trench Pilgrim's torso. I
And
mean,
that's
they're significantly beefier.
you can tell that like influences like some model design decisions. Like for example, like Bestiarum, they do their stuff. Their like weapon handles are super thick, and you know that's just because like out of a practical consideration.
Oh yeah, they've probably broken many minis.
Yeah, because they have very like spindly and elaborate poses. So that's got to 100% be like looking
Well,
out.
there was a YouTube video for a miniature game montage, and he was doing the comparison to like even the look and the feel of the new plastic kits for Trench Crusade. And I tend to agree a little bit that the original resin ones versus the newer plastic ones, it's like the aesthetic is slightly changed, and even like the models, and probably because of the plastic mold
Yeah,
injection that they do, it's it needs to be thicker.
Oh, well, it's not only just thicker. That's one of the things that I was saying before when we first started talking about them doing plastic is you're gonna have to change a lot of the posing and other stuff around just
yeah,
because, with 3D printing, you can do so much more geometry wise with 3D printing versus
yeah.
something that has to be injection molded. Because when you do injection molding, you have to take into account draft angles and the size and shape of the mold and how many parts you're going to make it in and how big the sprue is going to be. With 3D printing, it doesn't matter. You could make it however crazy you want. You just got to support the dang thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a different, and I think like the original things were they were sculpted by James Sheriff, I believe. I'm not sure if it's also James Sheriff doing the plastic kits. I think it might be different. I know they were hiring for a 3D modeler a while back. I don't know if they found somebody. But yeah, it's gonna be completely different. I do like the plastic. I actually think the plastics are really high quality. They're really
Oh, they
good.
are. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But just aesthetically, if you look at the models from the original Kickstarter, like the resin models versus what the plastic kits look like, aesthetically, they've deviated.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was like I would say even the resin range wasn't like 100% consistent. It was like 5 different artists doing that. And I think it's like there's some mixed quality in those resin. Like I think the Heretic Trooper kit is extremely good. All the arms fit with all the bodies, and there's a lot of like gear options. It looks great, looks very true to the art. The details are all there. I would say like you can clearly tell the Heretic Trooper designer is different from like the Heretic Priest. I feel like the Heretic Priest is probably one of the weaker. I mean, it's fine. Like I don't want to,
That's my least. The original Heretic Priest is probably my least favorite of the entire range.
yeah, and I don't want to slag off the artist that did it. It's competent, but it
No,
just
it's still good. It's just that
yeah,
you can tell it's like a different style than
yeah,
the Trooper.
it's different style and it doesn't evoke the art. Like that I would say is the biggest problem with it. It doesn't look like the art, and it doesn't have that same vibe. But yeah, you can just tell it's like a different artist. So and even like like within factions, like I think the Black Rail Corpse Guard are actually really good. The Black Rail Corpse Guard look great.
They look great. I just hate that it's basically 2 guys.
I
Like,
mean, that
it's
does suck.
yeah, like
The options notwithstanding, I think they're great sculpts.
yeah.
And the like you can tell the corpse guard was a different artist than the thralls. I do like
Oh,
the
for sure.
thralls. They're like charming in like this goofy way, but it's so different. Like you just look and it's like so
Yeah.
different.
It like one of them's not too bad, but like yeah, there's like the big chunky bloated one, which again, it's not bad art, but it doesn't evoke the same kind of like fear and disgustingness that some of the other stuff does. I feel like uh it fits well enough, but yeah, it definitely feels like a different person did those.
Yeah. So
But the
I
bigger
am
thing to me
curious.
is the fact that again, at least with the thralls, whatever, it's a thrall. It can't even take any options normally. But like, I feel like that was the big thing with, like pilgrims and heretic. They got multiple arm options. You can switch stuff around, and then you go to New Antioch, and it's like you can change the heads.
Yeah,
Like
that
that.
is
That
crazy to me. That what you would think should be
Yeah.
the most modular. It's like, 5 bespoke sculpts with head swaps. That's very surprising. I don't actually know where they're at with the plastic kits. I don't know what they're planning on doing
Yeah.
next.
Well, I do know that was one of the things that they had said last year at Adepticon was they had talked about there was going to be I believe they said there was going to be more multi-kit options coming
If I had to
and that
guess,
they were going to update the files.
it'd probably be expansions for Naval Raiders and Path of the Sacred Affliction.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we know Naval Raiders are going to be, both of those are going to be obviously in the carcass front box.
Well, beat the or oh no, yeah, Sacred Affliction, not Path of the Beast. I keep mixing those up.
Yeah, Sacred Affliction, and Naval Raiders, obviously, they're going to be in the box. And you could tell that's a different, kind of a different design sensibility. Those look cool too.
But
I
again, to your point before, at least those, from what I've seen, at least so far, the sculpts are very, as closely as they can, at least follow the artwork.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little let down by the Anointed, the Naval Raider Anointed. I actually kind of like that. I think it was like a free one that they just put out like immediately as the artwork release. It was really good, and then this one like has a little deviation. It's not so chunky. So I was like really hoping for that super chunk, like kind of Big Daddy look.
There's always third parties.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's the rando that like made that free sculpt the day of the art getting released, like did a great job.
Yeah, and I think he even did some more after that too.
Yeah, but overall, like I mean, I was looking at the carcass front box, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I was getting excited because there's like, I mean, I think I'm most excited about like the missions in it. Like the models are awesome. Like the warband expansion rules are going to be great. Uh, I really hope they do some cool missions, and I think that they will, because we've seen some stuff like in the behind the scenes process, like with what they're doing with the missions, and I really hope that they're going to deliver with those, and I think they will.
Yeah, well, that was the big thing from again last year when at Adepticon when they were talking about was I think they were kind of hinting at that where I know Mike Francino was talking about, he loves all the trench boards that he sees. He's like, but there's so many other locations, and they talked about, like there's gonna be like the corpse factory and
Yeah,
the
which
tank
is fucking awesome.
yeah, like the tank graveyard
The
and
Steel Necropolis.
and like the graveyard one, they showed some artwork and they even said, they're like, you can see this, big Leviathan sea monster thing in the background. And they were like, there's going to be rules for that, so I'm really curious to see what they do with that. I like from the old dragon hunt mission. I'm
Oh, did
hoping
they
that
say there was gonna be rules for the
you,
tank god?
Yeah, they
they
did.
didn't say
Oh, okay.
exactly what the rules were for, other than
Oh,
when
okay.
they showed an image of the when they were talking about the tank battlegrounds,
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
in the
Yeah,
background you can
we're
see
not
this.
sure if it's going to be a playable thing or if it'll
Okay.
have like effects on the environment or the scenario or what. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I just
that's what I would think.
because I can just tell you what I remember was when that was on screen, he pointed at the giant bug thing that was in the background, and he said, there's rules for that."
Oh, sick.
So I don't
Okay.
know how that's going to take into effect. I assume it's going to be something kind of like, like I was saying, like the dragon hunt, like it's going to be a
Yeah.
more improved one. Um, but that's why, like I was telling Johnny and the guys, I think it was last week, where like I caved and finally did buy the carcass front box, but I'm literally waiting because I don't particularly care for naval raiders or uh Sacred Affliction, whatever flavor
Yeah.
it is in the box. I'm like, yeah, I really just I want the books and the cards. I want everything but the plastic. So I'm probably just going to, the first person that says, oh, I want to do Naval Raiders, I'll be like, hey, I've got
Son,
the plastic
you're
minis.
lying to yourself. You know you're going to keep them.
I mean, I would, but I'm like, you know how much plastic crack I already have to build? I still have entirely too much that I want to admit plastic in the other room that
Yeah.
hasn't been built. I'm surprised I managed to finally get through all my stuff for for the freaking Armageddon box, and I just literally finished putting those together last night.
I will say I was making room for for like the orc stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like I just started taking like printed minis and just shoving them into a bag. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna drop this off in spray gunner. There's no way that I can paint all the shit that I print. I'm literally, next time I go, I'm just gonna grab these bags and just, if you're in the area, you want to grab free minis, I'm just gonna do it, because there's so many just like, like aborted projects and just stuff. I was like, oh, I like this, but I want it 20% smaller, or oh, I want it 20% larger. So, and like it's just, it's just like the same mini for over and over again, just like
One of these
testing
days, we should
scales and shit.
definitely organize some sort of like swap meet there.
Yeah, I think
well,
that's a great idea.
yeah, well, it's funny you say that because like I know a bunch of other people in the 3D printed scene where they like to, digitally assemble their guys and figure out like, oh, I want, arm 4 with the machine gun on body 6. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, I'm just gonna print out 4 of everything because
Exactly.
I'm like, it's gonna cost me $2 in resin. I'm just gonna print out 4 of all the pieces, and I'm gonna sit there and put everything together how I like it as I'm sitting there, and if I need more pieces, I'll go print some more pieces, but, that's why I have a Tupperware bin full of random assortment of leftover pieces that, just like you were saying, that's why and just the other night, somebody asked in the Discord, like, "Oh, I need a" what was it? They needed like a tank hunter and an
Mm,
HMI or something
yeah.
like that. And I was like, yeah, I think Johnny tagged me as like, yeah, I'm like, I need to replace the screen on both my printers. But as I typed that, I'm like, I know for a fact I have at least 3 different versions of the anti-tank hunter communicant printed that I
Yeah.
literally bring every week in case somebody needs it, where I'm just like, give me $1. I'm like, I have them. I printed them during the last campaign if somebody needed them. And I'm like, I probably could go look in my bin and I probably have an HMI because it's one of the few new Antioch ones that I actually like, think looks cool. It's one of the like first pieces of Trench Crusade artwork that I ever saw was the
Yeah, it's iconic.
HMI. Yeah. So I mean, to me, like the HMI is 100%. It was their Space Marine. They made it look like a
Oh,
Space
yeah.
Marine. It made me I'm like, hey, that looks like an old school, like 1900 Space Marine. That
in terms of looks, not in gameplay, which I think a lot of people make that mistake. If you're new, do not think HMIs are Space Marines, because they're not.
No, they're not terrible, but they're not particularly great.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so I printed out multiple of them because I want to eventually, when I get some free time, actually, paint one up. But inevitably I have them sitting in that bin and somebody asks for one and I'm like, oh, instead of printing another one, I'm like, I have one. Let me just give that to them.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna not even worry. But just bag and drop it off at spray gunner, and the players can pick some up.
Yeah, I need to do the same. And then on top of that, I need to bring my my failed prints box for anybody that wants to make some basing bits, because I have a very large box of failed prints of terrain, random bits and pieces of minis of all
Tyranids.
sorts and types. How would I have 3D prints of those?
All right, so I said I was going to do court. Mike, you're obviously going to do some Grail variant. Johnny, what are you going to bring into the Leviathan campaign? Are you doing Red Brigade still?
He's going to always do Red Brigade.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
There is
checking, making sure.
There is no other warband.
Yeah, how can
There's
Johnny
only
play without
Red
his
Brigade.
cheaty ass freaking sniper priest?
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Hey, I'm not the one that likes to start him up tall so that he can shoot and kill everybody once per freaking round.
Freaking Mr. I run the Greg. I gotta fucking kill that son of a bitch multiple times a game.
Yeah, and how many times has the Greg killed your sniper priest? Oh, that's
None.
right. No, never has he ever killed your sniper priest.
Let's try to change that this upcoming campaign. Let's try to flip it around.
I can't. I'm
This
not
is
gonna.
Mike.
Probably
It's
not gonna run.
happen.
I'm not gonna run hunger in the upcoming campaign.
Oh, you know what you can run is you can run fucking Dirge. They have some guns.
Yeah, they got guns, but they don't get an amalgam, or I don't think they can get the. Do they get the Tumor Lord at like 1,000 or something like that?
No, they can't do that.
Because I know the new rules, because like Hunger did that, where like after you get to or there's a specific rule where once you get to a certain amount of points, you can take the Tumor Lord. Then otherwise you can't take him. And I think they did something with that with Stock Grail, where you can get like a second amalgam once you get to a certain point value, and you combine 5 thrall into an amount, which is a cool thing. I like that. I still think it'd be way more fun if you could do that in the game, where it's like, I'm just gonna freaking get 5 thralls together and they're gonna fusion high into a freaking another amalgam.
I do want to give Spray Gunner a big shout out, mainly because I had input into helping design it. They came out with a new painting handle that looks like a damn pineapple grenade, and I'm gonna get 5 of them because they feel great in the hand when you're painting. Better than the James Workshop ones.
What, you don't like the little one that's like $12 that you clip your dude into and is 100% not going to fall out and break on the table
That is the
immediately?
biggest piece of shit I've ever seen.
I can't even believe they made that new one. And the old one wasn't terrible, at least if you until the spring started to wear out on it.
No, they never should have got rid of the Mark 1, which had the thicker handle on it. Then they came out with the Mark 2.
You don't like the pencil thin one that has the gigantic baseball base, but like a little tiny.
Dude, I like girth.
You like that big
I like
thing?
that girth in my hand. I feel like I'm holding something.
No, that new one though, like it's
They
not
need
even
to model. They need to model some veins into the into the painting.
Hey, look, Johnny, let me see your hand on the. I got some green stuff.
Fuck you.
But no, like that new one they came out with, it's literally just got some clips, and I'm like, it's $12. Like I think the original one was $20. It's not even that much cheaper, and it's like how could you ever put a mini in this? It's gonna slide out. It doesn't even have rubber grips on it.
Well, the one Spray Gunner came out with, it, you have 2 options. You have a traditional cork, where you can attach like blue tack to it, or you can it has a magnetic insert, and then they have an attachment you can get. It's another magnetic insert, but it'll go up to 60 millimeter base.
and it's no longer stainless steel. That was my contribution to it.
Yeah.
Was they were trying it, and we were like, just put a washer. I'm like, just don't do stainless. I'm like, I tried that on mine, and it doesn't work because stainless is not ferrous.
Yeah, it needed to be galvanized. But they went another route though, and it works really well.
That's what happened to my what's it called? The Trench Pilgrim's big dude. The Shrine Anchorite. That thing had survived almost a year without breaking. And right before I went to Adepticon, I was trying to do very similar to what they did with that handle, where they made the top of it magnetic. Because I was like, well, all my guys are magnetized anyway. So I normally just use some like 1.5 inch dowel rod, and I just put double-sided tape on it and hold my guys on that way. And I was like, oh, well, just to make it a little easier, because I usually just have 50 freaking paint handles that I just stick a guy on it and he stays on there until he's done being painted. I was like, that way when I go to Adepticon, I can just easily swap them out if I just, epoxy a big, steel washer to this. And I put a cheap stainless. So it was, I don't know if it was not full stainless or what, but whatever it wasn't very magnetic. It was light enough that it actually did stick, but I put my shrine onto the paint handle, and I was like, he doesn't feel very secure. And I turned it like at a 45 in my hand without thinking, and it slid right off and fell off on the floor. And it immediately fell and broke the wheel off. And I just looked at it. I'm like, I'm not even mad. I'm like, that was stupid on my part.
Well, the painting handle, the grenade handle that they're coming out with, it also comes with like 2 or 3 different weights that you can attach to the bottom of it. Like the bottom of it unscrews, and you can insert the weight and then screw it back in. So it gives it more
Not
weight.
only that, they also, the other thing that I think, I don't know if they were going to do that before I mentioned it, was because my guy slid off, I was like, put some sort of coating on the whatever metal you use. And I think they did that. I don't know if I saw the final version of it, but I know the last one I saw, they had whatever metal top they had some sort of coating on it. So hopefully your guy doesn't slide around as much as mine did.
At worst case, you can always just use blue tack as well.
Yeah, because that was the biggest thing was when you magnetize the guy on there. If it's just straight plastic and magnets on, slick metal, it'll rotate around on you. So just putting a piece of painter's tape or something on it, just to give it a little bit of not even the sticky side, just the rough surface, so that it doesn't slide around as much. And but I think the one that I saw, at least the other day, it looked like they had some sort of coating over the metal.
Yeah, they have them in 2 sizes too, like a regular, and then they have one that's slightly smaller. So check them out. We'll post the link to it in the show notes.
Man, you get a discount with.
Yeah, TFS 7 off SG. We've got the discount increase to 7%. So that's pretty nice.
Glad you remembered it. I couldn't remember if it was 7 off SG or TFS or.
Yeah,
I knew the letters. I just didn't remember the order.
TFS 7 off SG
at Spraguner.com. So, what else can you tell us about this upcoming campaign? I know you're trying to keep some of it a little bit, on the hushy hush side, but can you tell us anything else?
It's a dual campaign, and I'm going to have basically a bunch of ragtag defenders at the Basilica that were kind of there by accident. And there's an onslaught of heretics coming off the beach, kind of like storming and attacking the Basilica. And the defenders have to survive. So early on, the heretics will probably be at a disadvantage. But as game 2 happens, the defenders aren't able to reinforce or buy anything else. What they have is what they have. If they die, they die. They can't recruit. They can't do nothing. Whereas the heretics will be able to. On the flip side to that, there's a faithful supply caravan trying to get to them, not knowing if they're still alive or not. In the Basilica, they don't know if the caravan's coming or not. They don't know if their message got out. So the caravan is going to have to fight through a bunch of heretics to hopefully try to reach the Basilica to resupply and rearm them. and then it'll all culminate. Both campaigns will culminate into a, big finale at the Basilica.
And hopefully none of them that are in that are listening to this episode.
Yeah, right.
But I think the bigger thing is you're planning on doing bigger games where it's not going to just be one-on-one.
Correct. It's going to be multiplayer. Both the Basilica will be multiplayer games, and both the Caravan will be multiplayer games.
And I believe the idea now is going to be a 3-on-3 for those, for the basically 2 concurrently running.
Well, ultimately, it's going to depend on exactly how many players we get. I think so far I have 15 or 16 signed up.
Oh, Jesus, there's more than I thought. Stop telling people to join.
No, the more the merrier.
Yeah, and that's where I'm glad that the daily results can be submitted by anyone, and you can just submit your own battles, because I would hate for I would hate to be like saddled up.
So the campaign's 3 weeks, but it's basically 2 games with the Caravan and 2 games with the Basilica. So I'm gonna have to split the group into 2. So one group will be the Caravan and the group fighting the Caravan. The other group will be the defenders of the Basilica and the attackers of the Basilica. Then at the end, so on that 3rd week, they'll all meet together for the final battle. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, I don't want to have the outcome be decided because, someone walks in and is like, hey, I want to play my first game of Trench Crusade, and he's on your side, and then that's like the decisive battle.
No, I'm definitely keeping it fair, and regardless if the Basilica falls, then it falls. If it doesn't and they hold out, they hold out. But ultimately, it's a really good narrative, and it's going to make for a great story.
Yeah, it sounds fun. So,
and I think the other big benefit this time will be our last campaign. We actually had quite a few new players, and I believe some of the same people signed up for this one as well. But
most of them, yeah. I actually think everybody, but maybe 1 or 2.
But
I'm actually happy to see that player retention. It's a good sign.
But I think the bigger thing is just going to be that this go around, at least so far, I'm assuming there's not any new players who've never played before like we had with the last campaign.
Oh, no. Really? Do we not? Interesting.
Not unless the new guy that just joined our local Discord. Not unless
he's new.
Yeah, if he joins up, he'd be the only new person.
How did so many new people, did we do something? Like, did you advertise somewhere? How did so many new people just randomly decide to join?
Honestly, I have no idea. They just kind of...
I think with the last campaign, we just had a couple, because I think 1 or 2 of them were from like the painting group at Spray Gunner that finally joined in.
Okay.
I know there's another one of the guys that's usually over there that's painting. I believe.
Interesting.
Is he? I'm trying to remember if he joined that. I know he's in the Mordheim campaign.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, he'll be playing Prussia in the upcoming one.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I don't remember. Has he played or not?
I don't think so.
Is it Sean from the guy who does like renders for video games?
No.
No. He's one of the guys that paints. He's usually up in the corner painting. Yeah. He's
new. He's new then, right?
I don't know. I know he's got some.
He's not new to wargaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he is new to Trench Crusade.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to get him some kind of learn to play.
Oh yeah, well yeah. We've got plenty of time between now and then that we'll get him in some games.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so we do need players.
Yeah, but last time we had a handful of people in the last campaign.
Yeah, I don't know how they all heard about it.
Interesting.
I mean, other than me posting it in our local group, yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Man,
Interesting.
I'll have to put
Random.
out a poll to everybody. How did you hear about us?
Yeah, maybe we should make more postings and actually I should do that. I'll probably do that in like the Nerd Brew Discord and make a few postings when the campaign's coming up.
So I
Maybe
made
do
a
that.
flyer. Feel free to, you can use that, share it around for
Oh yeah, that's right.
our
That's
event.
good.
I also turned a digital flyer that I had made into the physical flyer. Spray Gunner gave me permission to post it up, so I printed out a few copies, and then I'm thinking, because there's been quite a few players that have asked, like, "Hey, can I actually get a copy of that?" Because I designed it to look like an old school, like punk metal kind of show flyer.
Yeah, I like that.
Um, so I haven't had a bunch printed up, but I think I may get a bunch printed for everybody in the campaign and do it as like a giveaway to everybody participating in the
That'd
campaign.
be fun. Man, I'm accumulating like a bunch of swag just by playing this game. It's pretty funny.
I know, right?
I'm gonna have to start charging for these campaigns.
Well, we talked about that, right? Like, listeners, what do you guys think? How do you feel about contributing funds to a campaign? I think we had a discussion, and the consensus was like, if it's, if it's like Johnny, then I have no problem with like, chipping in a few bucks, to help fund the campaign. I know, that might. I think some people were like a little more conscious of it, or some people, but most people, like the vast majority of people, seemed okay with it. So I'm interested in what our community thinks.
Yeah, I think after talking with most people, pretty much everybody was okay with chipping in, especially with how much time and effort was put in. Because I mean, you're talking the last one was 8 weeks, so 2 months worth of effort
Yeah.
of get a couple of custom scenarios. There was
That, and I had
a lot of
I had
giveaway stuff.
I had stickers made up, campaign stickers. I had Trenchfoot Society dice bags made up.
Yeah, we had a bunch of giveaway stuff, custom tins we did for the
Yeah.
the martyrdom pill stuff and all that.
And
I mean,
don't
there was
forget just the terrain being used every week.
between the terrain, I mean, shoot, I was freaking pumping out prints and Johnny was painting them and making all kinds of stuff extra. That was one where we were originally going to like laser engrave some of the tins. And, I was like, yeah, I can do that. I got a little engraver. It'll take like an hour per tin or something with a little tiny thing I have. When we were going to originally, like when he first asked, and it was like
Well,
6 or 8 people.
I didn't
And then
know about Epic Studios right around the corner, and the owner John, was like, "Oh, you freaking! I'm gonna bring him over here. I'll laser engrave him for him." Like, well, that would have been nice to know. They're prior before the campaign.
Yeah, well, that and we talked with him. And I was like, well, yeah, he's got, because Johnny was like, well, didn't you say it would take like an hour? I'm like, yeah, it'll take an hour with my, little tiny 8-watt diode laser. I'm like, he's gonna have a big 100-watt CO2 laser. It'll take him freaking 30 seconds per tin, probably.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, they're the ones that printed and designed the grenade handle for Spray Gunner.
And they make all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty nice location, just in an industrial park, so you have all this shit.
Yeah, they're right around the corner from Spray Gunner, but they do, industrial scale laser engraving, 3D printing, and et cetera, et cetera.
They got the big boy toys over there. I wanna go hang out with them because I've got the home shop CNC and laser cutter and 3D printers. They got the real deal stuff.
But yeah, I mean, for this campaign, I do have special terrain, especially the Basilica board. It's all going to be a theme board. It'll be laid out on a 6-foot by 4-foot table. But yeah, other than that, I have a few details I'm keeping myself until we start it. Does anybody else have anything to add? about the upcoming global event or our campaign we're going to be doing for it?
I know with the global event, because you can add in all the battle report stuff and all that, I'm assuming that you're going to just go ahead and tell everyone that you're going to be writing those up and submitting those officially, so we don't
Yes,
basically kind of
for
double dip and then have
correct.
multiple people put
Yeah,
those in.
for our campaign, I'll be writing those narratives and submitting them on behalf of Tampa. But our players, if they wanted to play a one-off game with each other, whenever, they're welcome to submit that. Same thing if, our local players want to hop on TTS, they can do that as well. But for the actual event, I'll be writing those.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's clear that we're not, just because we've got a bunch of people playing, we're not going to be submitting 5 battle reports for the one battle because there was 5 or 6 people in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Eric, you got anything else to add?
No, I think we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're all waiting for big box to drop, and then we'll have kind of more to dig into.
Yeah, so I think when this comes out, so it'll be August 3rd, which will be the official announcement. There's going to be more details that day.
Oh, I was gonna say that's when the campaign thing. I was like, I could have sworn it was like the end of this month, but no, that's when Carcass
Front drops the end of July. They're going to announce more details on the global campaign on the 3rd, and then it starts, I think, on the 24th. Our campaign kicks off on the 27th, and everything concludes on September 13th.
Yeah, so we'll have, we will have a little bit of time then to check out some of the Carcass Front stuff, and maybe see what we can try to incorporate then. Because I know I'm definitely looking forward to whatever comes out with that.
Yeah,
like I said,
because I know we all pre-ordered it. I just hope we get it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. Well, some of us will, because some of us, didn't have to get it the instant that it dropped.
Right.
Which I feel like I cheated with, that I'm going to probably get it before you.
And I hate you for it.
I was just about to ask, like, how much does it hurt?
Still crazy. Lunchbox has it for like $90.
Might want to edit that out.
Yeah, just in case. Whoops. We'll just bleep that.
I mean, 90 gold doubloons.
I mean, to be fair, it's up on their website. They have the link right to it on their site.
Yeah, but if they're actually shipping it or not.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe just edit it out just in case.
Either way, yeah. We're obviously we'll edit that part out, but you want to find something, how do we want to wrap it up and then do a little bit of an after show?
Yeah. Yeah, we can wrap it up here. So anybody got anything else they want to add before we close out for this month?
I think we're going to get a lot of fun stuff coming soon. And I know I'm really looking forward to it. And if anybody wants some extra plastic minis, let me know, because I'll probably be selling mine off.
Yeah. In terms of hobby shit, gonna be super busy this summer. I mean, I'm balls deep in this Orcs project right now. And then when Carcass Front drops,
I don't feel bad for you about that, because I also have Orcs.
I was going to say, because Johnny's also going to be doing a lot of Orc stuff.
Yeah. So it's a nice, I guess it's, it's one of those nice problems to have. Too much hobby shit coming out.
Right?
Oh no, my lobster's too buttery.
Yeah, exactly. Steaks too juicy.
We also have Adepticon next year. That's coming up here.
That's in way too many months away to even think about.
Yeah, I can't. I hate when your dentist is like, "What are you doing on a Thursday 6 months from now?" It's like, lady, I do not even know what I'm doing.
I
this
know. I'm just
weekend."
excited because I'll be able to go this this coming one. I'll be able to go to it, and I think Mike and I we got a room in the block, so
Oh, sick.
Watch, Johnny, you're gonna be talking so much about it, and then all of a sudden, last minute work's gonna make you not go.
Oh my
no,
god.
I already put in for the time off.
Nice.
There's still time for them to scree over.
No,
That's true.
not going to happen. I'll be unavailable. I'll be away from the office with limited access to phone and email.
There you go.
Before we sign off, if you've got questions, confessions, grievances, campaign stories, or hobby projects you'd like to share, reach out to us at trenchfootsocietypodcast@gmail.com. You can also join the conversation on the Trenchfoot Society Discord and follow us on Instagram at Trenchfoot_pod for updates, hobby progress, event coverage, and everything happening around the trenches. This episode is brought to you by SprayGunner.com. Whether you're painting a warband, building terrain, or gearing up for your next campaign, help support the show by using our affiliate link in the show notes. And don't forget to use code TFS7 off SG at checkout to save 7% on your entire order. Your support helps keep the trenches alive, the podcast signal strong, and allows us to continue building this community. If you'd like to support the podcast directly, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Trenchfoot or become a member on patreon.com/Trenchfoot Society Podcast. Patreon members get access to our exclusive after show where the conversation keeps going long after the recording ends. Until next time, keep your powder dry, your dice honest, and your faith unshaken. A huge thank you to our Patreon supporter this month, Charles B. Your support helps keep the signal alive, and we truly appreciate it. Now for some upcoming events from around the Trench Crusade community. First up, the official Trench Crusade worldwide campaign, Operation Leviathan, runs August 24th through September 13th. If you want to join the fight and see if there's an event happening near you, head over to TrenchCrusade.com for all the details. Summer Slaughter follows on August 14th through the 16th at Crown Plaza Princeton Conference Center in Plainsboro Township, New Jersey. For registration and more information, visit www.wickeddicey.com. On August 23rd, check out Inchfest at Rotund Bochum in Bochum, Germany, featuring multiple games including Trench Crusade along with live music and tattoo art. Our own Trenchfoot Society mini-campaign kicks off on August 27th at SprayGunner in Tampa, Florida, and runs for 3 weeks. On August 30th, Storm over Portsmouth takes place at Micro Precision Systems AG in BLB in Switzerland from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The Nova Open Trench Crusade Narrative event runs September 2nd through the 6th at Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C. Under the Dice Fest follows on October 2nd through the 4th at the Enfield Elks Club in Enfield, Connecticut. From October 22nd through the 25th, you'll also find Trench Crusade at Spiel Essen in Germany. Then on October 31st, Infernum in Terra comes to Das Haus Rhein in Germany. And finally, the Oklahoma Open 2026 takes place on November 14th and 15th. Don't forget that Schmolly's Gaming Cave Cafe hosts Trench Crusade Monthly Meetup on the third Tuesday of every month in Crown Point, Indiana. If you'd like to support the show, check out our Patreon. Follow us on Instagram and join the conversation on Discord. We love to hear about your games, your campaigns, and your stories coming out of your corner of the trenches. Until next time, keep your powder dry, watch the wire, and remember, the signal fades, but the war never does.